Alright, I figured I'd take a break here and talk about this before I get all the way through with it and then forget to. This is Rob, of course, in case... I've done a couple of videos on this about planning to do this, but it's been a while, so who knows where the last one was or if I can ever find it. So we'll assume that I hadn't told you about this. But what I'm doing here, besides running over random screwdrivers, that's pretty great. Not a flat tire or anything there in the making, I guess. Where'd that come from? That's not one of mine. Wasn't one of mine. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm getting a base set up so that I can put a 3,500 gallon water collection tank on here to use for birds or for this garden if we do a garden here, or that garden out there if we do that garden out there. Because of where we live, this is what they look like after a while. They get grown up. Now, they don't always collect the old cross ties, but these were left here from the guy that lived here before me that used to do a lot of gardening in this spot right here. Right now, the only thing really we have out here is our asparagus, which I just cut a while ago. And it's not doing great, but at least it gives us a little tasty treat once in a while. And am I even seeing it? I can't tell. The camera's so small. But there we go. That's where I cut it earlier. As I clear my throat. My turn, Steve. So, my little brother happened to bring me, along with some other cool stuff that he brought me some good cross ties that I can use for the base. I had a bunch of cinder blocks here that I actually dug up over there on the other side of the barn in the chicken coops that were buried in the ground, used for something like this probably 50 years ago. And so, for all you people that like to repurpose stuff, which that includes me, then here we are. This is where the tank will be. It's going to catch the rainwater off of the barn up here, the shop up here, which has had gutters on it for a long time, and we've kind of collected it over here in a couple of buckets and barrels right there, and I just dip it out to water stuff, or sometimes get a siphon going to do it. But there you can see the guttering coming up to where it stops there, and then it goes the full side over there. I can't remember. Later I'll calculate how many square feet this building is, but a little bit of rain collects a whole bunch of water. We can see down here my garlic is doing real good. I need to, here when spring actually fully gets here, I'm going to do a little video about just all the stuff that grows here. Hi, Dad. Didn't know you were coming.
I've been hollering.
Oh, well, my hearing may not be better than yours. Give me just a second here. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to get a pad set up. Going to get the tank in, so we'll check back in when we make a little more progress. Isn't that handy? I've got the outhouse right there next to us, just in case. So we'll be back. Okay, little progress report here. As I hop down off that pile of cross ties, just to hop back up on them again. Got most of the blocks in place. Got one last block to put in there. What I'm having to do is just kind of rough up the dirt, scoop it out a little bit, and get all leveled in. I'm sloping it slightly this direction because this is the end I'm going to have the outlet valve on the tank, and I want the water to be able to, as much of it, run to that point as possible. So that's why I'm doing that. It's not much off a level. It's only about a quarter bubble off a level coming this way. That'll be plenty, though, to get most of the water out of the tank. So anyway, I'll get that last block put in, then get some cross ties up on them. Put a row of cross ties like that one right there. So there'll be 1, 2, 3 going this way, and then going the other direction that way will be either 4 or 5. I'll have to see what I think, and then I'll plan to put a layer of plywood on that, or I might just put enough cross ties. I think I've got enough that I could just put cross ties and not have to use the plywood. The plywood just gives it a little bit flatter base and kind of helps ensure that nothing, that there's nothing on one of the cross ties that might poke a hole in the bottom of the tank, because what a drag that would be, right? So we'll see what happens. I'll think about that one. The good thing about not having the plywood on there is that when it gets wet, it'll dry out a little bit better and everything won't rot as much. That plywood, once it gets wet under the tank, will stay that way a long time. But I don't know. Nothing's ever perfect, so this will just be good to have, and we'll see how it goes from that point. So we'll be back here in a minute. Well, just as I was about to get back at it again, I realized it must be break time, because here comes the break time express coming to get me and make my day a little bit better. I bet we may even have refreshments. All right. All right, got all the cross ties on now. So the base is effectively ready, and I think I am going to go ahead and do the plywood on here for a couple of reasons. One, I just want to protect these cross ties and keep them from rotting out. As you can see, some of them are a little bit rotted already, got some rough spots in them. They're still incredibly solid though, especially when they're laid out like this. And the other thing is it'll just tie it all together good. If I put some plywood on top, shoot a couple of screws into it, and that'll just kind of hold it together real good. I'll probably put the screws only around the outside edges where it's not under the tank, and I'll do that after I get the tank on. To start with, I can put a couple just in the corners and along the very edges where I feel pretty good that the tank won't be. And that probably would never be a problem, but all it would take is a screw to work out somehow and start digging into the bottom of the tank and be a problem. I don't think it would, but nonetheless, we may not do that. Now, of course, cross ties being what they are not all perfectly level and straight, and so the one in the very middle right there has a little bit of a bow in it that bows up right square in the very center, so it makes everything off a little bit, and so it just kind of throws everything off. But it's not a problem, because once you get I'd have to do the math on it. Let's say, I can't remember if it's a 3,000 or a 3,500 gallon tank, but let's say 3,000 times about 8 pounds a piece, that's about 24,000 pounds. I think it'll mash itself down and settle in just fine and be good to go. So that's what we're going to figure is going to happen anyway. So anyway, that's the next step. I'll bring a couple of pieces of plywood out here, get them laid on, shoot a couple of screws, and be ready to put a tank on probably tomorrow sometime. So there we go. Let me hop down without twisting an ankle. All right. You know, we had a freeze last night, but you can't tell it right now. It's about 63 degrees, and back here in the sun out of the wind, it is completely warm. I mean completely warm. There's at least a little bit of a breeze that comes through once in a while, but it's coming out of the east. So it's not getting to me except right there's a little bit. Anyway, it's pretty nice out here today. This is a perfect, good, wonderful day to do it. Tomorrow's supposed to be good too, so hooray for me. All right, bye. Some people just don't want to be movie stars. Anyway, we've got the plywood on, and now the next thing is just the tank. Bring that out tomorrow probably and get that on there and then show you that. Then hook up the gutters, and that'll be a tricky part. I'm not real sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. You can't maybe see it through the tree there. I got to bring it over. I can count. Let's see, it would be from where I think it's going to be. Each of those things in the middle are about a foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9, about 10 feet. So a single piece of gutter from each side will just about do it on further this side. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we'll get it all hooked up. So one thing at a time. Progress. Yep, straight up. I got my muscles all warmed up for nothing.
No, you ain't taking that to your house.
Oh, I didn't figure.
Do you want it standing up, or do you want it laying down and then you put it in there and stand it up?
Either way. I mean, how wide, what is the width on that? Is it 8 feet?
I don't have any idea.
I don't remember.
Another thing is these. No, it's got threads in it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you have that.
I was going to say, you need to keep that, because I'm okay. You need to hang on to that.
No, that's okay. Because we don't use as much 2-inch anymore, and that's it's a pretty high dollar.
I think expected it was. Yeah,
that's
why I figured you were going to host it.
No, you can keep that on there. That's
If you'd have done
we
this
just
2
need-
months ago, yeah, we'd have kept it.
Okay, I think you're going to have a hard time getting it over there if we put it in there like this.
Stand it up. Okay.
I mean, I just think it's going to be hard, and I think it'll be kind of hard on the tank because it's going to have to sit in there like this.
I wondered if it was why. Yeah, I couldn't decide if. Yeah, laying down is what I had figured we probably weren't supposed to do.
So let me turn it where we're going to be on that.
Yep.
And yeah.
You need me to move this, pull it further? Or?
No. Do what? Okay. And then we'll see if we can, like I said, and then I can get on this side and start tilting it, and then maybe we can help it lay over.
Okay.
Let's get it up there pretty good. What do you think? Yeah, let's go ahead and put that last one up there.
I could not remember how wide this was. I think this trailer is
Got it.
not quite as deep.
Yeah, no, he's gonna come in and set it on that. Yeah, and then he's hoping.
What is this, a 3,000 gallon?
Yeah, probably a little over. Okay, you're on the pallets now.
I know. Once we get it started, though, so it can come to.
Yeah, if you can.
That's what I think it's fixing to do.
Oh, there really is two.
Yeah, they're not terribly heavy.
No, they're really not.
You think a couple 100 pounds?
No, I think you're probably talking 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah, they're heavier than you think they are, but they're still not that heavy
What was in here?
for 11.
What kind?
Straight in. Straight nitrogen.
Oh, yeah. The letter is not.
Slide it up in here. I think y'all are okay.
We're down.
And neither one of us dislocated our shoulders.
How about
There
that?
you go, Reese.
I don't think, well, I don't think you want it in there.
No, I don't think so either.
You want it on the tail a little bit so you can just stand it up.
Yeah. I can back it just about right over the top of the platform I built.
Okay. I'm gonna pick it up a little bit so we can move the pallet.
I think you're okay.
Okay.
Stay over here, bud.
Whoa, watch out now. We're going.
push up this end here. Okay.
Better get up under it enough now.
Yeah, I think so.
The trick is, you're just going to want to slide to the barn. It may.
Bang!
And we did it. It's up and ready. Just like that. Thanks to good help. Then we'll hook it up and start collecting water. And be all better. And so it's all done now. Of course, it got late and kind of lost the light here, but it's all put together. I didn't put it together quite the way I wanted to do it because I was in a hurry and there was a rainstorm supposedly coming. It didn't make it. Big surprise. That's the way it is out here in this part of Texas this time of year. We'll get big clouds build up and it looks like we're fixing to catch what for, and then the clouds all go away. There's some more clouds building up, but these clouds are bringing snow for us, they say. So here it is a couple of days after Easter, and we're expecting temperatures back down in the 20s for the second night in a row, and some snow. But snow will melt and turn to water, which would be good because I really want to see if this works or not. I feel like it's going to work pretty good. It is not in a final completed stage. It is in a good enough to catch some rainwater stage, which I hope it does. There's still a couple of things I want to do to it. I keep having these great ideas of building some first flush diverters on there to catch some of the dirt and stuff like that we get. Maybe, maybe not. You know, even if it does build up some dirt with that valve down at the bottom like that, it will wash a lot of the dirt out. And since this isn't drinking water necessarily, then it'll be okay. You know, I've told the story 100 times about when I was a kid and drank out of my grandmother's cistern. It was a big metal cistern, close to this size, maybe not quite this big, and there was no filtration on it, and you literally would turn the valve with the bottom on. It was just a spigot, like you hook a water faucet to, or a water hose to, and you turn it on, let it run until the water would quit running brown and start running semi-clear or mostly clear, and then that's what we would drink. And you know, we were fine. Made me tough, made me strong. In the meantime though, right up there, I've got it all piped together good. I couldn't find the right exact fittings I wanted, so what I did was I kind of tweaked the gutter a little bit, kind of bend it where it fit in that 4-inch conduit, and then had a fitting there that'll be changed later. Right now it's just open to the top so it doesn't overflow, and then another one just like it that flows the water down and into the top of the tank back there. Greg Scott would not approve of this, I'm pretty sure, but he wasn't here to help me, so I did it best I could. But either way though, it is done, and of course obviously I spared y'all all the gory details of me climbing up and down the ladder 100 times and putting in screws and all the kind of pieces like that. But I'm a happy boy because now we've got another, I think it says, goes up to 3,000 gallons. Right up there somewhere it says it. Maybe a little more than that. I'm not even sure. There's two different numbers up there. I don't know what they mean, so who can tell? One says 2,500, the other says 3,000. Either way, quite a bit of water it's going to hold. Maybe you add them together and it's really a 5,500 gallon tank. Yeah, that's it. No, it's not. But anyway, there it is. It's done. I'm happy. I'm glad for it. I should be able to water a lot of chickens and a lot of garden and a lot of whatever else. Water a lot of me if I have to. But that's it. So, hope you got something out of that. And I will catch y'all later on. Cheers, everybody.